Good morning. Happy Halloween. My hand today is pocket threes. So in this hand, it's a full ring table, but we are only six-handed, and cutoff min raises the two big blinds, and we have 2,000 hands on him. He's playing tight, playing mostly passive. I think this is almost like a limp. He knows he wants to raise, but I don't think he wants to raise his usual amount because he's afraid, maybe afraid that he has, you know, a pretty weak hand. So what I think we're gonna do is give him something maybe like that. He knows he's gonna raise, but again, he only raised the two big blinds, and then it's on us. And I think with this, we should probably just raise it. You know, raise it. I don't think we should call. I actually think we should just go ahead and raise it as if we were playing our regular button range and just kind of ignore that treat this more like a limp, is what I think we should be doing. So I think we should probably be doing this. I didn't, and I think I probably did something like this and probably played a call. So I think right off the bat, I think two big blinds is not really a raise, it's just a straight limp. Now, this player could be like a tournament player and is used to making these smallish raises. But you know, when you look at the hands, I'm the shortest one out of the remaining hands at 70 big blinds. Um, I just think it looks like a limp, so we should treat it like a limp. And then the next two players called, and they're both. This one's playing 39%, so I'm gonna say he is in small blind, so he'll probably be a little bit tighter, um, but still he's gonna be playing pretty, wider than the average person. Maybe something like that. If we look at um, small blind, he hasn't like limped at all. I have 46 hands. This is kind of like a limp. Um, so maybe something like this. And I think the button's probably playing something similar. Um, so let's just copy this range, and then we'll post this range just so it's the same. So I'm going to go back to my range. As I said, I kind of think I should have raised here. I think that his bet's just too much of a limp, um, or it looks too much like a limp, and we should attack it. So the board is ace of hearts, ace of diamonds, and two of hearts. Kind of a scary board. If you think about all the aces that are out there, but there's only two aces left. So basically everyone's checking. Even villain 5 is going to check. So I think checking doesn't mean anything for these two players, but I do think checking is important here. So I think probably a full house is just gonna check. I don't know why you bet. If you have a full house, you have ace 2 or twos. Three of a kind's probably just gonna check here. Some players will bet it, some players won't. I do think a flush draw is gonna bet. Flush draw is gonna bet. I don't think any of those other draws are gonna bet. So when we check, I think we can have a full house. I'm gonna say pocket pair less than the top card. I think the ace. I just think an ace is gonna bet here and try to get some value from the flush draws. I think no made hand, and then we're going to X out the flush draws because I do think he would have bet those. So I think that is his checking range. And now it's on us. What do we do? It's been checked around to us. I think we check I'm willing to check three of a kind here. Because in my mind, I'm thinking if I bet three of a kind, no one's going to call unless they have some sort of draw. And I think if I check here and let's say a 10 comes or a jack comes or a queen comes, it gives players a chance to catch a pair and call at least one time instead of folding on this turn. So I think I'm going to be checking here pretty good percentage of the time. So no made hands. I do think we're going to be, let's do this, betting. I think we bet our flush draws here. Possibly even a 2-card backdoor flush draw, kind of setting the stage. And then it kind of comes down to what hands are we going to be betting for value here. So right now we're at 52 hands. We need maybe about 25 hands to bet for value if we're gonna keep it good. But let's see here. Let's step back and remind ourselves that this is through a multi-way pot. So we have to be cognizant of the fact that once everyone checks and we bet, some people are going to think we might be bluffing to try to take it down. Maybe I think this is a time to go ahead and check everything for us. We're checking our solid hands. I think these pocket pairs though should probably bet. We're checking our draws, our speculative hands, and we've got a bunch of those. What do? I do check. So what do? We are going to check. I just feel like I should be betting these top pair cards, because if there's no ace, we're trying to fold out some equity. Hands have equity against us, especially on the turn card. So I kind of feel like I should be betting at least those pocket pair below the top card, and then if I'm going to be betting some of those, then maybe our flush draws is what we should be betting. And maybe not all of our flush draws. Maybe not all of our flush draws. Maybe like king, queen, king, jack, king 10 is what we bet because we'll have the nut flush draws and then we can check the rest. So I think that's our checking range. I think that's what our checking range should probably be. It's a scary board. It's 3 opponents. I think aggression wins. And if we have a pocket pair and everyone folds, hey, that's fine. So then 4 of hearts comes out. Oops, this was 29.4% of my previous range, and I have 32 combos, basically just as a check. 4 of hearts comes out. And everyone checks. So now at this point, let's see if there's hands that we can kind of exclude, because now we've had a check and then we've had another check. Three of a kind, I think, gets scared. I think 3 of a kind would have bet had that not been a heart. And I think that's probably going to be just the same. Had this not been a heart, I expect the ace-x hands to go ahead and bet, but since it is, I'm going to expect them to check. I think even the flush draws are going to be a little bit scared because of the possible full house on the board. They don't really want to fold out anything at this point, so yeah, I think they are going to be checking here. What about this player? I think he did check on the flop, and I think we narrowed his range sufficiently on the flop. But now on the turn, I I do think some flush draws could call, namely the nut flushes. Um, so I kind of expect him to bet, and full house is gonna check. I think he's still gonna be checking those and those and those. He doesn't have any flushes, so I think the only thing, yeah, I don't. I think we're okay. So just 100%. So then it's on us. And once we check the flop, I think it's pretty useless for us. We still have solid hand. We lose out on three of a kind because any of the flushes get there. So I just think we're going to check behind 100% of our range here. We still don't know. I mean, there could be a heart draw. We know the heart draws are going to be calling us. We ourselves could bet it, but at the same time, we don't want to bet and get raised by that heart draw and miss out on our draws. So we check it, and then the four of clubs hits. Definitely not, a great hand, but all players check. So at this point now, I think we can exclude the full houses. I think full houses would have bet, including the strong full houses. The weak full houses, the four X's, I do think they would have bet. But straights, flushes, we're probably just going to check. I think that's going to be the same for both of these players. They're going to be looking, they would have been looking to try to get some value. This player, I do think now is the time to try to get value. So he's going to be betting all of these full houses and stronger hands, which means he's got pocket pair, below top pair, or nothing. And it comes back to us. And now what should we do? I think we bet full houses for value. I think we bet our flushes for values. Maybe not all of them. Probably all of them. Because when you think about who's going to call, I think straights are going to probably call. And probably all of these flushes are going to call. Now both of these players have more of like the king X flushes. This player doesn't really have any flushes, so I do think we might be able to get called by, somebody that thinks we might be bluffing. So yeah, I kind of think we could bet that, and then we check our nothing hands, and we checked, and now we see queen jack offsuit. So that's in his range. He didn't have anything. I think he does call a turn bet if we bet, but I think on the flop he doesn't. He folds. 9-7. I think 9-7 spades. He folds, and we have 9-7 spades in his range. So I think we bet the flop. They both of them fold. Actually, we raise pre-flop. It's possibility that both of them would have folded pre-flop. This one, I'm going to guess, is a pocket pair. No, Jack 10 of diamonds. Does he have a Jack 10 of diamonds? Yep, Jack 10 suited. And then we have pocket fives or pocket threes, which we excluded because I do think that we should have bet on the flop. Everyone showed weakness. We want to bet. We do have some backdoor straight, backdoor flush. It'd be a super weak flush draws, but we're trying to fold out some of the hands that had some equity to us, like all of these. You think about, king, queen, jack 10, any of those cards that come on the turn of the river now beat us with their pair. We should have been aggressive with our pocket pair, just to try to take it down. So we can't bet here on this river because the fours basically counterfeited us. All right, so made a mistake here. Should have raised pre-flop. Treat that min bet as a limp, and then we should have raised. We should have bet out on the flop as played. If you like the saying, look tomorrow. Have a happy and safe Halloween.